Welcome back, fight fans, to Seminole Hard Rock Casino in Hollywood, Florida. Professional Fighters League action inside the Smart Cage. And it's not just regular action, it is playoff action. The Season 3 playoffs begin August 13th. The welterweights and the lightweights getting at it. Sean O'Connell, Kenny Florian, very excited about some phenomenal matchups. And Kenny, your first time in MMA playoff action.
That's right. I mean, I was excited throughout the season, but now we have our playoffs. We have our semifinals. Can't wait to see what happens.
Let's take a look at the 155-pound lightweight bracket. The number 1 seed and Season 2 finalist, Loic Rajabov out of Tajikistan. He gets a rematch with Alexander Martinez, who actually defeated him in what he thought was a controversial decision in their first regular season bout. And Clay Collard, Haush Manfio in the 2-3 matchup. Both of those guys earlier in this regular season coming off what some would say are career-defining victories over the same legendary individual. Both of those guys beat Anthony Showtime Pettis to get to these playoffs. What about at 170 pounds? Here is our welterweight bracket. Rory McDonald, Ray Cooper III. That is the main event coming up August 13th. Goodness gracious, you cannot ask for a better matchup than that. And the Season 1 champion, Magomed Karamov, looks to prove that he is still the best welterweight in the Professional Fighters League. He faces Sada Bousi, a tough striker who actually steps in as the number 5 seed for an injured Joao Zeferino. Kenny Florian, those are incredible matchups, but what about the main event? Ray Cooper III, Rory McDonald.
Yeah, just a ridiculous fight. I mean, this is the fight that everybody wanted to see, especially Ray Cooper. Ray Cooper wanted this fight. He said he's been wanting to face someone like Rory McDonald, and this is one of those fights that can really make you and call attention to what you've been doing. People have already been really high on Ray Cooper, but Rory McDonald is that name that he's always wanted. Ray Cooper is a guy that is just a ball of Hawaiian fury, loves to move forward, puts pressure on his opponents, and he's looking to finish from the get-go, whether it's on the feet or on the ground. Ray Cooper is a major problem.
And he's evolved significantly as a fighter. He's not just a slugger, and you can't just be a slugger to beat somebody like Rory McDonald. The Red King is one of the greatest technicians in this sport.
That's right. You know, both of these guys can get it done, whether on the feet or on the ground. Rory McDonald has so many tools at his disposal, but as opposed to Ray Cooper's hammer, he likes to use more of a scalpel. He's more precise with what he does, very strategic. He obviously has a ton of experience. He's faced some of the best fighters in the world. He's been a world champion. He's been one of the top welterweights in the world for a very long time, for several years. So obviously this is the fight we've all been waiting for. Can't wait for this one. This is just ridiculous.
So that is our main event at 170 pounds. And that other 170-pound semifinal, Magamillions is 9-0 in PFL action. He has 5 finishes in PFL action. He's still undefeated. It was only an injury that took him out of the Season 2 playoffs. He still thinks he's the best. Sada Bousi looking to spoil that party. That's at 170 pounds, but what about the 155-pound bracket? How about the fight between Clay Collard and Haush Manfio? I already said it. Both of these guys, in order to get here to these playoffs, had to beat Anthony Showtime Pettis. And they were hard-fought decisions in both cases, back and forth. Now, 2 skilled strikers match up for a trip to the championship.
Yeah, you know, Clay has been so focused since he came in here. Everything he's been saying, he's been going out and doing and executing perfectly. You could see that focus in his eye. The way he went out there and just destroyed Anthony Pettis in those early rounds was something to behold. The way he was dropping him with body shots and head shots, the pressure he's been putting on his opponents, all that confidence. We're seeing why he's been so confident. He's been on fire. And now going from basically a no-name in some ways to now being a favorite, in my opinion.
And he's probably the best boxer we have here. As a professional in 2020, he went 5-1 inside a boxing ring. He left MMA behind for a minute, but now he's back, and he takes on a really tough Muay Thai type striker in Haush Manfio. So it's boxing versus that shoot-a-box Muay Thai style, really exciting matchup. And that's just one half of our lightweight bracket. We've also got a really killer matchup on the other side of it. Can't wait to see how the 155ers play out. Loic Rajabov, Alexander Martinez is a rematch from earlier. And Loic, he's looking for a trip back to the championship. He lost in a close decision to two-time champion Natan Schultz back in season 2. It's a lot to digest at both 155 pounds and 170 pounds. Big card. How about on ESPN Plus? We have 6 feature bouts. Guys trying to either earn their spot into the Professional Fighters League or individuals looking to prove that they still belong even though they didn't make these playoffs. Olivier Aubin-Mercier taking on Daryl Horcher in one that I can't wait to see. And Gleison Tibau, that's a dude who came off a win against Rory McDonald. Some would say controversial, but he's a big-time favorite as we look at the odds in our feature bout on ESPN Plus. That starts 5:30 p.m. Eastern for all of you folks streaming. The ESPN 2-fight card, these 4 semifinal matchups. A trip to the $1 million PFL championship on the line for those 8 fighters. And remember, every one of these individuals had to earn their way here. Maga's odds keep getting bigger. He's a minus 760 favorite over Sada Busi. If you're a streamer, don't worry. This is broadcast live on ESPN2, but it's also going to simulcast on ESPN Plus. So no matter how you're taking in your PFL action, we've got great stuff for you. Kenny, the playoffs are here.
Just so many great matchups. Can't wait to see how this all plays out. All of these guys that are in the semifinals at this point have been on fire. Let's see what happens.
Professional Fighters League is the only MMA organization with a true sports format. Regular season, that's already in the books. Now the playoffs, those are here, and an eventual championship. Coverage starts 5 o'clock Eastern with the DraftKings pre-fight show. We'll be there. We expect to see you there too. Professional Fighters League playoffs.